right, everybody, welcome back to Versus Live. My name's Merriam Baumeister.
And I'm Ross Merriam.
And we got Rob in the booth. Say what's up, Rob.
What's up, Rob?
Rob will be taking all your questions, comments, concerns, and burns. Make sure to tag at Star City Games, and he will get his favorite one sent over to us. All right, everybody, we are doing a fun little trios event to feel like we're back hanging out with our friends. Don't say it. Feel like we're back.
I am hanging out with Rob, so that kind of counts.
Nice. Love it. No, I'm sad. But anyways, we're playing a nice little trios style event just because every format right now looks great, including limited, maybe including legacy and stuff too, but I guess neither of us really play that a ton.
No,
even that looks cool from all the events I see.
It seems better than it was.
Yeah, I look and I'm like, I know some of those cards. That looks fun, but standard, modern, pioneer, I actively enjoy all of them. So we wanted to just kind of bring our favorite decks from each one. The deck I'll be choosing is honestly what I think is, if I can refine this list or if somebody else refines this list a little bit more, could easily be the best deck in Pioneer. It is 4-color Luca Fires. Some people play Transmogrifies, some people play Luca. I've updated this list to just be playing both. I'm playing just 2 Transmogrifies, 4 Luca. I still think Luca's better because it is better against spot removal. If your opponent just has 2 Fatal Pushes and you have like a Transmogrify, or you could have a Luca, Luca sticks around. You can blink it with Yorion and stuff. You gain value outside of just the one turn quicker. And I would just rather play more 4-drops that can stall the game and get me to my 5-drops. So I'm playing Mythos of Aluna and 4 Azeka's Chariots as this nice kind of combo that I ported over from Standard. And it's just much better in Pioneer. And much better.
And Chariot has already been ported into Pioneer. That's standard in all of these lists. Mm-hmm. And I think you're right. It works really, really well when you can, because of fires, your Yorions are so much faster to the battlefield, and Yorion Chariot is such a great combo. That you're going to see that come up a lot more often, and the power is going to be realized. And then obviously, we saw Mythos do some good work in Standard. That's still true here. There's plenty of cool things to copy. Now you can even copy your own agents once they're on the battlefield. And
that's the sickest thing. I had one draw where I went turn 4 Fires into Azeka's Chariot, right? And then I went turn 5. Luca hit a cat, crew up with that, hit a cat, get agent, Mythos it as my second card, and then attack with Azeka's Chariot, Mythos again. I took 3 lands.
My God.
It is disgusting the things you can do with Mythos.
That's not okay, Corey.
And this is the deck that consistently can gruel it up, consistently fight with that conditional cost. Sultai, very, very tough to do, so you get that extra element too, where, I have had multiple times where I'd copy an agent with fight. I'm able to kill their 2/1,
some small creature, take the big creature.
Take the big one, or if they have a big creature and a small one, like I copied a Rankle, fought their 2/1, and then blocked their Rankle. I mean, it just honestly does it all in this deck, and it's one of the most fun decks I've ever playing Pioneer and just Magic in general. So
well, you're gonna get an opportunity to copy Rankle probably at some point, because I am playing them in a mono black aggro, as I said before the break. Major innovation for this deck has been to go to a snow mana base like we've seen in Standard, to incorporate Faceless Haven alongside Mutavault. So no copies of Castle Lockthwain anymore. It's just 7 creature lands, 25 total lands. We're up a land total, 7 creature
you're just
lands.
Loving that, huh?
Yeah, it makes you so awesome. Resilient to sweepers. This deck was already pretty reasonable against them with all the recursive threats. But now you actually see things like Shadow's Verdict as a one-of in the Bring to Light decks, and Extinction Event sometimes. You see a lot of exile-based removal because this mono-black aggro deck has been around for so long. It's one of the default aggro decks in Pioneer.
Or Angers.
So everybody thinks about it. So those creatures aren't as good as they used to be. And so having the extra creature lands really does help.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, you won that close one last round, so I'll be going first. All right. And let's battle. What do we got? Slightly awkward, but not awkward enough to mulligan here. We need a little help from our deck, but we'll definitely keep.
Very first hand I draw has no black mana, 2 colorless lands in it.
Really innovative there, Ross.
To be fair, I would mulligan this hand even if Faceless Haven was a Castle Lockthwain, because it enters tapped on turn 1.
Sure. Yeah, so love it.
Where it's not changing, it just looks a little bit more a little weirder. Is Faceless Haven oddly, washed out Is that a normal thing in how that card is
That's
printed?
the snow treatment. Yeah.
That's the snow treatment on cards?
Oh, that they just kind of look kind of...
They just look paler.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
There's some...
We've only been playing with the cards for like a month and a half. It takes me a while to catch on to things.
And we haven't played too many Faithless Havens, to be honest. Like, we played the aggro decks a little bit, but other than that, the card just wasn't played.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You don't see a lot of creature lands in control decks these days.
Not really. We had the phase where there were some Crawling Barons running around in these, like, Dimir Yorion decks, but, that kind of went away.
I remember the days of Mutavault in the Azorius control deck. It was really, really annoying, mainly because it would block my Mutavaults out of mono blue. Occasionally they would get to like pump theirs with Archangel of Thune because that was their big sideboard card.
Okay.
Once they got a 3/3 Mutavault, you were just like,
oh, that's game.
Yeah, can't beat that.
Love it.
Okay, this hand has black mana and looks quite good.
Okay.
What I think I want to get rid of one of these, and I generally side with keeping this one.
I got a Tryon pass to you.
I have a Swamp and a Bloodsuck Champion.
Okie dokie. All right. Interesting draw. I think I just have to play as defensive as possible. Let's put this on the rocks. Pass to you.
Okay.
Xander the Greatest said.
Yep.
Xander the Greatest said Grandpa Ross hasn't wearing his reading glasses, so he never noticed the cards.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Not that far off. Most of the people in my family wear reading glasses at this point.
Okay.
My brother might be the lone exception. I will play a Scrappy Scavenger with my Mutavault and pass the turn.
I will draw. That's a very, very tilting draw. Yeah, I will chain that to the rocks as well and pass to you. Okay. You do not have any ways to do this. So I'm going to set them here just for annoyance, okay?
Okay, I'm going to play another Mutavault. Use that one to activate this one and get in for 2.
I will take it. 18.
And then I'm going to Thoughtseize you.
Okay, my hand is bad. It did not develop. I do not have double red, or I would be playing this game a lot differently.
I will certainly be taking the Ezekiel's Chariot.
Yep.
Card I can never, ever beat.
Yep.
Then I'll pass the turn.
Yeah, this is not developed very well. I will draw, put Yorion into my hand, pass to you.
Okay, Swamp, 2 Mutavaults, get in there.
Okay, 14.
Pass the turn.
I love those.
I kept 3 lands and put a creature on the bottom. I've drawn a lot more lands.
Let's go with, I drew the land, so I'm just debating if I want to play Yorion first or Luca first. And yeah, I think I'm actually going to play Luca and tick up.
Gotta remember what the ultimate is in case I want to worry about it.
It's not good. Tick up, these 3 are exiled, and I'll pass to you. I actually don't want to be hitting agents. Surprisingly, that's the only thing I can hit, but I really don't.
Okay.
And sorry, y'all, if you're hearing any noises, we are doing some construction on the SCG Game Center. So sorry if you hear that, but they're building some cool stuff in there.
Yep. Okay. So the only question for me on this turn is whether or not I want to attack the Luca.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to end up taking me... at least
a year, 84 years.
It's going to take me at least 8 damage, I would say, to kill this Luca.
It's going to take him 84
and
years.
I don't think with Corey at 12, I don't think that's worthwhile. Yeah. So I'm going to animate Mutavault and attack you for 2.
I'm down to 10.
And I'll play a Swamp and a Dread Wanderer.
Okay.
And I'll pass the turn.
Interesting. I will draw. That was probably D's. Really interesting. Wow. What can you have? Yeah, I don't know how many like Heartless Acts and stuff you play, but I drew an Ezekiel's Chariot. I will get these cats. Any responses or anything?
Nope.
And so my options are crew and just try to exile the chariot, and then if you have like Heartless Act, I just lose everything. Or exile the cat, probably have Fatal Push, that doesn't work, and then I have one cat as a blocker, but I at least have Yorion to blink this. And I think that's better, so I guess I'll target this.
Fatal Push.
I figured you had the push, and then I'll pass to you. But, like, the agent is not insane here, too, you know? So I think it's better than if you have something that I don't lose absolutely everything.
Okay, well, let's take the opportunity to do it with the Luca, animate the Mutavaults, and crunch in.
Attack all at Luca. All right, I'll kill a Mutavault.
Yep, makes sense. Luca down, then I will play a Swamp and pass the turn.
Okie dokie. That's pretty decent. Let's go with a Yorion. Yep, we'll blink out this, and do I want to exchange any of these? I'll give you this instead. And then I'll get 2 cats. Pass to you. We'll diversify. We'll put this on this too, in case there's something in your list I don't know about.
Sure. Oh, God. Yeah, play Swamp and pass.
Yep. I think his chariot is just so messed up. All right, I will go with Omen of the Sea.
Sure.
That's correct.
Yeah, chariot was the best to draw.
And I will go with top.
Top.
Top. Then I will go with a Omen of the Sun. I will get 2 humans, gain 2.
You go to 12.
Go to 12. Then I'll crew Azika's chariot.
That's fine.
And I will...
Heartless Act the chariot.
You have the Heartless Act too?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Had them both.
I'm genius. I'm a genius. I think I'm still pretty comfortable getting in there for 5 or for 4.
Brings me to 14.
Okay, your go. Wow, that makes me feel better. I was like, God, I'm just making all these situationally wrong plays today.
Okay, attack the champion.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Brings
10.
you to 10. Play a Scrappy Scrounger.
Okay.
You're up.
All right.
This is another card Corey wanted.
Omen.
It's another Omen. Okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Nothing great.
Top again?
Yeah. Top.
But Corey's hand was bad, and I had the Heartless Act for the Yorion, and he's literally ripped off like Azika's Chariot, Omen of the Sea, top, Omen of the Sea, top.
All my cards are insane, though. That's the problem for you. So I'll attack.
Still playing. Okay, how is this gonna work? It doesn't. So taking the 8 here doesn't leave me dead to the Yorion in the air. So I think I just take it and go to 6.
Okay. Second main, I'll take 2.
Brings you to 8.
And I'll Mythos Yorion, another little cute thing. I'll keep the old Yorion, blink these out.
And you're able to do that with red-green, right?
Yeah, but the fight doesn't exist because the token has the fight, and I legend rule out the token.
Okay.
So
yeah,
I will get a fight trigger, but there'll be nothing to fight.
The fight won't do anything, sure.
So I'm going to give you this back. Then end step, I'm going to come back. I'm going to take this. And then I will trigger these, activate, and then I'll flicker these out again with the Yorion trigger at end step.
Yep.
So these
you're going to go to 10, get 2 more Shaheens, and 2 more Preordains.
Yep, 2 more Preordains. I'll draw this one, bottom this. Draw this one, bottom this, and pass to you. Another just cute aspect of Mythos. Like, it really just does it all in this deck.
That was one of the things I was looking for here, was an answer to the Yorion, but it's a little bit too late at this point.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely reasonable.
Yeah, I will do that.
Okay.
Brings me to 4.
Yep.
And then I think I'm still dead, aren't I? So Mutavault blocking, I take it, I cast this, I block here, I gain enough to negate the cats, and you're even going to get 2 more on the end step too.
Yep.
So I'm dead.
Yep, you're dead, and I have just Shark Typhoon. ones.
Actually, the Dread Wanderer can block 2, actually. But then,
Yeah.
so block, negate these 2, still take 4. Yeah, so I'm still dead.
Yeah. And let's get real, I'll just cycle a giant shark at some point.
Well, I was
and get it
effectively
done.
dead after the second Ezekiel's Chariot.
Yeah, 100%.
I guess no, I was effectively dead when you didn't go to play around just Fatal Push.
Yeah.
When I only have 1 Heartless Act. If you just played into the 1 Heartless Act, I might have had a shot.
Yeah, and I mean, it wouldn't even been that much worse, right? Because the Fatal Push still got my Luca, but it got your resource, it got your entire turn committed by doing that.
It also the biggest thing was it allowed you to blink the Chariot, so it got you 2 more caps that way.
True, that is the biggest point.
Yeah. So I had the Luca covered regardless because I had both.
Yeah.
And the question for you was whether or not you wanted to risk everything to be more likely to Luca that turn, or be less likely to Luca but still be in good shape if I had it.
Yeah.
And I think you with how little I had left, it was correct of you to not be that risky.
Yeah.
And instead ensure that you got the 2 more cats and the Orion. Like that was going to play enough defense that you were going to get back into that game.
And I've never even seen lists with main deck Heartless Act too, so I was like, I just don't even think that card exists in your deck.
It's pretty common to see 1.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes you don't see any, but you often see 1. And I had it.
All right, y'all, I like it. And you were just, while I was deciding which one to play around, you're like, I got both, you idiot.
Yeah. Well, there was still a pretty big difference as to which one he played around.
That's true. All right, that's going to do it for our first game here of our second match, which is Pioneer. We're going to head to the sideboard, see what we got for each other. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to...
Oh my God, that scared
Corey, what did you do?
Hell out of me.
We're good?
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Scared the hell out of me. Wow.
To Versus Live.
Oh, well, we're both awake playing Magic the Gathering now.
Well, we're both, sideboarding, I guess.
Yeah,
in our matchup
I think we're
between
playing,
mono black aggro and 4-color Luca Fires.
Yes.
On my side of things, you got a couple more discard spells with a Duress and an Agonizing Remorse, a second copy of Heartless Act, which we saw the importance of against specifically Ezekiel's Chariot, and Cuttering Murderous Rider. Rider can also deal with Chariot, where Fatal Push often can't, and can definitely deal with Yorion. The problem is it's 3 mana, and holding that up in this matchup is so
very
difficult.
tough.
So
I'd love for you to do that, because then I'm just like, okay, Yorion, get my value up. I'll just juke you.
So, my goal is the discard spells are really going to disrupt you, and I came pretty close to doing that in game 1.
Yeah, you
the
did.
top deck, the Ezekiel's Chariot, really blew everything up.
Yeah.
So definitely going to cut Murderous Rider, be as efficient as possible. I did also think about Legion's End, seeing as it can clean up all the tokens from Chariot, all the tokens from Omen. The problem is, as a sorcery, it's never going to break up Transmogrifier or Luca, and so I just don't think you can afford to have it in your deck, because I need to be lean and aggressive and threat dense, and I'm trying to do that as much as possible. Murderous Rider is kind of a threat, but not really.
Yeah.
So I can put pressure on the 4-color deck because their late game is stronger than mine, and you just can't have too much removal. And so Legion's End, I think, is less important than having Fatal Push, which is just the cleanest way to stop an early Transmogrifier Luca activation.
Yep, I think that's smart. And for me, very little sideboarding here, just bringing in our 2 Wraths. Everything else is very directed towards the rest of the matchups. This matchup should be okay already. We already have our Angers in the main, so just taking a couple Narsets out. For realistically not a great removal against you, or not a great Wrath effect against you, but it's serviceable.
Yeah, definitely better than Narset. I could see people wanting to bring in Rest in Peace in this matchup, but you have so much exile-based removal between Chain and Anger the Gods that I don't think it's necessary.
Totally agree.
If you were more on spot removal, then Rest in Peace is a tool I'd be interested in.
Yep. 100%, yeah. But you nailed it there. And I even had like Detention Sphere in this deck before, but that was one of the cuts I made because it is just so unplayably bad against these Niv Mizzet decks. It's excellent here, though. It's excellent. Detention Sphere is just great because you can also Mythos it too. And really, if you pair up any of your creatures ever, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
But it just hasn't been worth it against the Niv decks or against the Luca decks. So I decided to cut it for 2 Transmogrifies in the main.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right.
More Agent of Treacheries.
Yes, all the agents.
I will be on the play and hopefully on 7 cards.
I hope you don't.
And I'll keep.
And
what do you think of that?
I think I'm okay with it, and I'll keep as well.
I will lead on a Bloodsoaked Champion.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
All right. I have a Regram Triumph. Pass to you.
I'll play a Mutavault, get in for 2.
18.
And play a Dread Wanderer.
Alrighty.
Pass the turn.
All right. I have another Triumph, and we'll chain. Let's go with this one. And pass to you.
And down.
It's off the chain.
Okay, Swamp attack for 2.
I will take it. 16.
Spawn of Mayhem, can't be angered.
Okay.
It's a nice one to have here.
It's a pretty strong card. Instead, I'll chain it. How about that?
How about you're a jerk?
And I'll go like this and pass to you. All the tap lands over here.
Another Mutavault. Now I've got a Rankle.
Ranky poo.
Get in for 5. This is a
11.
11. And
modes.
my hand is bad. We will certainly be discarding. And I do think I want us to draw, so I have more stuff. So I'm going to do discard draw.
Okay, discard, draw.
Okay, well, that's concerning. So you're going to be at 10, and I'll be at 19.
Yep.
Pass the
10
turn.
to 19. All right. We got a pretty good turn here.
I assume fires and some ridiculous card.
Yeah, just fires and wrath. I just had 2 of them.
Okay, had them both.
And pass to you. I didn't want to discard the other one, but our hand was fires, land, and another card we wanted, so not much we could do.
You have 3 in hand?
3 in hand. Pretty medium ones.
Yeah, I think we just have to jam.
NBA Jam.
Yeah, land, no, sorry. Animate just 1 Mutavault.
Oh, okay.
Get you to 8.
All right.
Play our 2 1-drops and pass the turn.
All right. I have quite... Are you handless?
Yep.
I have quite the good turn for you. Oh, wow, that even makes it better.
I mean, my hand was great here on the play, and Corey's just had the nuts.
Yeah.
Chain, Invention Verdict.
Okay, let's go with land. I'll buy Yorion, Azika's Chariot, Yorion, make 4 cats. And do we want to exchange any of our chains? Yeah, not really. That seems fine. And I'll pass to you.
Really needed just a discard spell in this hand for that turn 2. It could have gone second swamp instead of Mutavault.
Yep.
1-drop discard spell, take the Chariot, and then I would have been fine. But now I am dead.
Yep. Now I got you in a rough spot here. I got you in the kitty's cradle here.
Okay, play Scrappy Scrounger, pass the turn.
Okay, I'll thin out my deck here. Don't really need anything. So first land we see minus a plains because we have Birth of Maloitus. All right, so you do have that can block, and your Mutavaults can block. So you can take down Chariot if you want here. And I'm dropping cards, but I caught them. All right. All right. Yeah, Azika's Chariot is just so good. And honestly, we've all known how good Fires and Yorion is together from previous standards. That now that we get new toys with Mythos into this and Azika's Chariot, it's just so very good.
Yeah, and normally,
Psycho.
once your deck has Fires, Azika's Chariot, Chain to the Rocks, some sort of disenchant effect out of the sideboard would be nice for me, but on mono black
just doesn't have it. Yeah,
it's just not there.
Mm-hmm. You can do the Feed the Swarm or something, but that's not very good.
That one doesn't hit Chariot.
And that's why Chain is so good, because all the aggro decks can't really beat it. Like the Black-White Auras, that it's the best there. Mono Black, it's great. Yeah. Luris Burn. But then against Niv, where they have all these abrupt decays and Nahiris, it's awful. It's awful, and it's nothing but a liability. The amount of Chain to the Rocks I've hit on Omnaths and Niv Mizzets that have then drawn them more cards is outrageous. So, all right.
There's been a Gruul deck around that's playing a bunch of dragons. That deck is sideboarding Destructive Revelry could be something.
That could be good. Yeah, that's probably pretty good too. I will get a Luca. I'll play a Luca. I will crew this and then get rid of one of these cats. Oh yeah, what is this? You reveal, right? I don't know how this card works. All right, let's take your only blocker. Yeah, let's take this one.
I gotta take Dread Wanderer.
And I can't cast any more spells this turn.
We're done here.
Where are you going? Where are you going? We're just getting started. God, I hope we have time for a pity game. Yes, we do. I love this deck, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, it is like the most fun deck I have had playing in a long time. I'm a little biased because I already loved the Luca Fires stuff, and honestly, I just love Fires of Invention. I loved it ever since the Jeskai Cavaliers deck. Since that was the only time I didn't like Fires. I didn't really enjoy playing against that deck. But then when it went to Luca, I enjoyed playing with it until everybody was doing it, and then it was the same with Pioneer. So I'm enjoying Pioneer now until everybody starts playing it, and then it's going to get boring again.
I agree, though. It's much more fun playing the deck that you like when your matchups are more varied and it's not just about beating the mirror. I went through the same thing in Modern with Izzet Phoenix. It's like, the Izzet Phoenix mirror was fine, and you had some interesting games, but if I had to play it 6 times a tournament, I was like, not as good. Where are all these Noble Hierarch decks I'm used to just destroying?
Yeah, when I watched you win the Open, because the only reason I really watched, sorry, we were buds back then, but you played my brother in the top 8, and I was watching my bro, and just seeing what you were doing to people with that deck, I'm like, God, he's getting lucky with this weird Izzet deck. And then the more and more I saw, and I was like, okay, this deck is just insane.
Actually, he's doing the same thing every turn 3, every game.
Yeah, actually, he's just playing a deck that is destroying all these Spirit decks and Infet decks. Like, every time you drew Gutshot, I was like, wow, who plays that card? How lucky. And then we're like, more people should be playing that card. That card is great. That looked like a good Gutshot. That looked like a fun time. That looked like a fun time to be Ross Merriam, that's for sure.
I've played Gutshot in some weird decks. In case you thought that was like a stroke of luck. I've been on the Gutshot train for a while. I used to sideboard it in Humans to like beat the mirror and also be like reasonable against Infect because that matchup could be tricky.
Okay.
And I remember I won a Classic with Humans early one year. And in the finals, I played against like the Devoted Druid deck, and in game 2, I gut-shotted my opponent's like Noble Hierarch, and they just didn't have a second land. But they had the full combo, like they had me just dead on turn 3.
Yeah,
but just didn't draw a second land.
They're like, dang it, Ross Merriam and his gut shots.
One gut shot. That's all you need.
Yeah, why would you need more than one when they only play one drop on turn 1? I'll take a question from you before we start up this pity game here.
Yeah, Annex had a question about Pioneer. Do you think the Ragdos Pyromancer deck is a staple of the format now, or does it fold to Grave Hate easy enough that it's not going to stay around?
So that's another deck that I really love right now, and that matchup is extremely close. I have the I Win card, and like that's why this only comes in against one matchup, and that's how much I respect that deck. It's that powerful, and honestly, if for whatever reason I couldn't play this deck, that's what I'd be playing. I think that deck's awesome. Yeah. It's incredibly powerful, but it doesn't fold to certain metagames. It folds to respect. If you respect the deck and you put ley lines and you put Rest in Pieces in your sideboard, it's not a good deck. So, if more and more decks, mono black all of a sudden got ley lines, that was their normal thing, that deck would go down. But right now it's not popular enough or winning enough where any deck rightfully should respect it. So I think it will continue to do quite well.
I do. I think the deck it hasn't been dominating the metagame, but it's been one of the top performing decks.
Yeah.
The problem is the metagame is so wide open that no other deck can afford to devote so much sideboard to a single matchup.
Single matchup. It doesn't, and that's the thing is Rest in Peace ley lines do not have collateral damage against any other deck right now, except maybe these Lotus Storm decks that are popping up. But even those are like just okay decks.
Yeah, they don't use they don't really use the graveyard much anymore.
Yeah, they're blue-red now, right?
Yeah, they have that black card that they just like draw their deck.
Oh, that's right. They don't even breach anymore, do they? Yeah. Maybe I'm actually like that deck again then, because I hated Breach so very much. But yeah, that is a deck. I mean, we look at it in Pioneer, right? Or look at it in Historic. That's kind of what happened to the deck. It became very good, and then people just played ley lines and some Rest in Peace, and then it was really bad. But I think it will be a fixture of the format because I just think it is that good.
Like Historic just doesn't have the variety of decks that Pioneer does that you have to be concerned about in your sideboard.
Yeah, there's only 4 or whatever, you know.
If you put a bunch of ley lines or Rest in Pieces in your sideboard, do you not have enough, cheap removal to deal with mono black aggro, Boros Wizards, Auras, Naya Wynota. There's a bunch of different aggro decks, and then there's some control decks too. There's a Dimir control deck. This deck is kind of controlling. You have to worry about with all the sweepers. there's Niv Mizzet decks that are trying to go over the top of you as well. There's Mono Green Devotion. It's kind of like Modern was 5-6 years ago, where there's just so much going on that it's hard to hate out a specific deck in the metagame. So decks like that are very powerful and linear but get hated out by individual cards have a better chance of succeeding.
Yep. Nope. I totally agree. All right, let's get to this pity game here. My hand is pretty awkward on the draw. If this was the card it was supposed to be before, this hand would be so excellent. But
if I draw a land, this hand is good.
Okay.
And I'm 24 out of 53 to do that.
Okay.
Which is about 6 out of 13 and a quarter. Which is like, 45% or so.
Okay. And I have a Yorion in my deck. If I draw it, I'll put it there, or if I need to cast it, I'll go get it. But whoops. I guess I can just take the top half and hope.
Even if I just hit the one land, it's still. Yeah, I'd have to hit the one land immediately and probably a little bit more. So I'm gonna mulligan this hand.
I'm gonna have a loose Corey keep here. It has some definite problems, but we'll keep it. I'm just gonna reshuffle and get Yorion here.
Fine by me.
I'm just gonna transmogrify and hit Yorion and be like, awkward.
Looks like Corey made some sideboarding errors.
Yeah, mistakes were made.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it was Yuta Takahashi messing around with the Yorion deck, and he was like, ooh, I didn't think that one through, and he just Luca'd into Brazen Borrower, and he's like, I thought this would be some cool tech for the mirror. Like, what was I thinking? The spell is good, but the creature is a bit of a liability.
That's a whoopsie.
That's a big old whoops, yeah.
I've definitely done things like that before. You figure it out in match 1 of the league when you're excited to test a deck, and you're just like, ugh.
There goes 100 play points, Rob.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God.
Does that hand any better?
I mean, it has 2 lands in it, but it has 4 spells that cost more than 2.
You have 4 spells that cost more than 2?
Yeah, the deck's curve is pretty low, but somehow I've found a lot of them.
Yeah, okay.
And the problem is, I've also got this Spawn that's hard to cast. Yeah, I just can't keep this. This is going to be too slow.
That's awful. Yeah. I think Spawn is pretty overrated. I think a lot of people play it, and I don't love it, but maybe it has some good applications in other matchups.
It is very good against red decks where it's difficult to kill. So they do have Chain in the sideboard.
Yeah.
Any deck with Anger and Deafening Clarion, those kinds of effects are pretty common. So it's a 2 in the deck. I agree that I wouldn't want to play a high number.
Yeah.
But
and that's true. I have lost to it when I'm I have an Anger and I'm relying on it. Yeah.
That's what it does really well, and that's an important role for the deck.
I've also Mythosed and fought their Murderous Rider or whatever, and I'm like.
But ultimately, it is just a dopey creature, right? Yeah. Also, doesn't get Abrupt Decayed, which can be nice.
That's true.
Despite
a 3-mana getting Abrupt Decayed card is pretty spicy.
Okay, I can keep this 5 somehow. Still not very good.
Why don't you just select your 5 cards in your deck and try to get a playable one?
So the question is whether or not I can afford to hold really any form of disruption once I'm on 5 cards. And so one of these is definitely going on the bottom.
Okay.
It could be a second one because I have a third, or it could be this guy. Yeah, I'm just gonna put the second one there. I don't think it's that good.
Okay.
I'll lead on Dread Wanderer.
Alrighty. Dread will be Wandered. That's not a great draw. I'll pass to you.
Awkward. Attack for 2.
I'll take it. 18.
I'll play Knight of the Ebon Legion and Immutable.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
All right. I will go with this Plains, and I'll pass to you.
I like that. Decent chance of an Omen.
I wish.
Okay, let's start the train. Agonizing Remorse.
I will start with a cycle for 0. All right, hit. Did not have this. I was like, this hand's so good if it was my last configuration where this was Detention Sphere. But yeah, the top decking the Sacred Foundry with the double Angers. I think I know my play next turn, if that helps you. So...
I don't believe you.
Well, Agonizing Remorse is so spot on right now. He's agonizing, and I'm remorseful of the situation, but...
I'll take the Fires of Invention.
Yeah, I think that's the best.
I'll go to 19.
Is this exile, right?
Yeah, okay. I'll attack you for 3.
Okay.
You go to 15.
Yep.
I'll pass the turn. You go to 13. Just slide these over here.
Yeah, good call. Pass to you.
The
beats?
Mutavault.
I will...
11.
Yep, 11.
I'll duress you.
Okay, I added a land.
I will take the Luca.
Luca's gone.
Pass the turn.
Okay. Like, how about an Azeka's Chariot since I just drew this green? That's not an Azeka's Chariot. But instead, I will buy Yorion. And what do I want to do for a land? It's actually pretty close. I guess we'll just go like this.
Corey just out here agonizing over his land decision when he's got me crushed.
No, I mean, it was tough, yeah.
Get in for 2.
9.
You can go.
All right. Okay. I will sack this. Doesn't matter too much.
Probably want to get a green source.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe. And then I'll just play Yorion and pass to you. The sad Yorion.
You're up.
Are you loving that deck? I still think you said before Jund Sacrifice would be your tool of choice, right?
I mean, it would definitely be a strong consideration. I like this deck quite a bit too.
Yeah.
Those
all
haven't
right.
really come
I'll
together. So I'm at 15.
All right. Second main, I will transmogrify it.
I'll Heartless Act it.
Okay.
Happy to see that.
I'll play this and pass to you. I guess if you had a land, you would have Heartless acted and played it.
Yep. Okay, Dread Wanderer, get in for 2.
All right, 7.
You can go.
All right, I got a land and an agent. I am just going to take your Mutavault and pass to you. I have an Anger.
Bloodsoaked Champion.
Okay.
You can go.
Ooh. I have an Omen. That's quite interesting. All right. I guess we'll top. And pass to you.
Two in hand?
2 in hand, yep. You know, one is Anger.
No, one is Anger of the Gods.
Yep.
We got 7 to 15. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 mana over there.
I got the manas.
Which means I'm just thinking about making an attack to force Corey to castle instead of sacrifice Omen and try to dig for more gas. The problem with that is Corey actually has exactly enough mana to sacrifice the Omen on his upkeep, still be able to activate Mutavault as a blocker and activate castle.
Yeah, I got lands, man. I got lands for days.
I think he just sort of has it all lined up here. You know, you just sort of use these to sack the Omen, then you activate castle with the steam vents, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 tap the castle.
Yeah.
So you have it all up if you want it next turn, even if I make you tap the castle on this turn. So I don't think there's any reason for me to attack, so I'll just pass.
All right, I'll make a human. Yeah, and this deck without Omen, or when Yorion is dead, you're never doing this back. We don't have ECDs anymore where you would normally get to bring stuff back, so that's not worth it. Then I'll pass to you.
Okay, that's a swamp. I will play a Spawn of Mayhem.
Spawn, yep.
Pass the turn.
All right, end step, I will do this.
Make another Shaheen.
Make another
Sack the
Shaheen.
Omen.
Sack the Omen. Bottom. Don't worry, it's already wrapped up, buddy. I topped the card I drew last turn, and it was Transmogrify. It was the Transmogrification. Let's get these out of here. Let's get Shaheen out of here. Let's get... God, I hope it's Agent. Come on, one time. Agent. Come on. One time.
It's just agonizing.
Remorse. All right. Luckily, I hit an Agent. Okay. We'll get that. Now I need one more permanent from you, and I can start drawing a heckload of cards. I will also cast an Omen.
Ugh.
Scry. Top. Let's go with Chain the Blocker. And get in there for 5.
I go to 10.
Your go.
This is gonna put me to 9. It'll get a counter. That'll put me to 4.
And it'll put me to 6, right? We got 7 to 10, yeah.
Oh man. Potentially, I guess, made a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so last turn I had Rankle Spawn in my hand, and I wanted to just sort of kill you in one turn.
Yeah.
Obviously, if I have you take the Rankle, then you just make me discard the card in my hand.
Yeah.
Right? You just attack at that point and take the last card away from me. That seems obvious. So yeah, I just wouldn't have had either.
Yeah.
But I ended up just drawing second Rankle here.
Let me do my next turn though. Pretty please.
Sure, I'll
Okay,
play Rankle. Go.
Right.
You go to 9, or you go to 6. I go to 9. This gets a counter.
Yes. Okay. I will Mythos with Kicker, fight this, get a Benny Smith, take this. I'm going to just say go, end step, draw 9 cards. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I'll have to discard now, though. Dang it. This deck is nice, though.
Yeah, no, it looked great. I was able to do a little bit of disrupting in both games, but what clearly wasn't enough. Didn't really have the right mix. I think I had a great draw in game 2 on the play with a bunch of pressure. I needed one piece of disruption, would have been good enough.
Yeah.
And in the other games, it felt like I was just a little light on the disruption. Like I didn't have the spawns and rankles on time in those games. So I just had a bunch of 2s and disruption, and so that just 7-mana agent in that third game. And in game 1, the top deck, the Zega's Chariot, stopped my aggression cold, and just gave you a bunch of time to find stuff off the top. And at that point, I'm just hoping you brick for 3-4 turns in a row, and you never did that because you're a jerk.
Yep. The thing that really changed the dynamic of this matchup for me is Mythos and Azeka's Chariot, just because back in the day, those key disruptive spells, you just did it on before I would untap on turn 4, took my fires, and it was usually just too bad. But now with the fact that top decking Mythos is great, top decking Azeka's Chariot is great, I'm top decking cards that aren't just trying to get me to this combo. And that just turns me into a nice control deck against you that all of a sudden can just be like, oops, I'm going to combo you and you're dead.
And in particular, blunts the effectiveness of discard. Because the way you beat discard is by making the top of your deck really good. Yeah. And,
or having cards that you just can't discard. Like, Yorion is so insane against that.
Yeah. So, if I was playing, an aggressive deck that had counter spells back up and I was countering your 4-drops as you were playing them, it would be a different story.
Totally.
Adding more different 4-drops wouldn't really make a huge difference. But against Thoughtseize and Duress and that kind of stuff makes a huge difference.
And that's what we're not seeing in the format right now. There isn't anybody countering anything on turn 4. That's why this deck's good. If that were to change, like Azorius Control, I remember in the last format, even with Teferi, LSV built a sweet Azorius Control deck that got really popular in Pioneer, and it just was a train wreck. They just had Censor, negates and stuff in the main, and I had to transition into this just kind of crazy deck, and then therefore I had to dedicate a lot of sideboard slots to it as well, to bringing in a lot of disputes, Dovin's vetoes, so I can take out removal, take out fires, and then whenever you have to do that mode, you just shouldn't be playing the deck. That is the one lesson I had to learn, because I just wanted to keep playing it, but it wasn't good when you had to make those drastic changes to fight the metagame. That's not happening right now, and you always get to leave in fires. I have some disputes for Niv Mizzet decks. That's just good, if I don't draw fires or turns 1 through 4 or whatever. But when you don't have to drastically change the dynamic of the deck, I just think it's excellent. So,
yeah, I would say, maybe Spirits would be a good option if you're trying to fight these Luca decks with, Lofty Denial and Spell Queller could be a good option. I think of, Don't encourage bad matchups for me, okay? One of my old favorites is It in Soul. A deck that can play like Stubborn Denial, Metallic Rebuke. That said, you have the single best removal spell against them in Chain to the Rocks.
Yeah.
Even if you Ensoul Darksteel Citadel, which is supposed to be your ace in the hole, Chain answers it cleanly.
Yeah, that is a big problem. I did play against a deck like that, and then they did not win.
Yeah. I'm sure that feels like a matchup that is probably reasonably close, but none of the games are close.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's like you feel the tension where you could have lost if they had this, but you didn't.
Yeah, every game is just cross your fingers on turn 3 and hope your opponent doesn't have the card that beats you.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so next up, we are going to have our third and final match, y'all. I'm going to be playing for the marbles with Jund Death Shadow. We haven't really played too much Death Shadow decks, recently in Modern. Besides, I think we played Rakdos Shadow a little bit, and that's kind of been the default deck. But bring in Jund Death Shadow, and I actually like it quite a bit in Modern right now.
Yeah, all the Swift Spear decks are solid. Just really powerful, consistent decks with good disruption. And I'm going to be playing Death and Taxes, a deck that I actually wrote about this deck a couple weeks ago, the week of the ban, saying that this is a deck I think is going to be well positioned, and it's been doing really well. If you looked at the results from last weekend, there's multiples in top 8s. The same is true the week before. Definitely one of the decks that I'm gonna pat myself on the back for calling out. I think it just matches up well against big mana decks and the small aggressive decks. It has good game now with Skyclave Apparition.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that might be the anti-kryptonite of Versus Live. Every time you have these mopey white Aether Vial decks in your hand, you win every time. So I'm not looking forward to this final match for the marbles, but it should be a fun one. So we are going to take a short 5-minute break and we'll be right back with round number 3, and it'll be Modern. See you soon.